Okay, these are mini albums actually. And as I said, I made them as a Christmas in July project. But if you did that project with me in July, I do have a new version, and it uses the Festive Farmhouse suite. I'll show the other one at the end of the video, but I'm going to concentrate now on the one we're making, which actually is this one. And I want to give credit. I got this idea online and saw many ideas for these mini albums online. I just wanted a real simple little one that you could send to someone for Christmas with a few pictures or notes tucked in. And I really loved the one from Liz Ewell at Old Stables Crafts. And she did it, I found it in the summertime. Hers looks totally different, and in my blog post tomorrow at buckeyeinklings.com, I will also link you to her project so you can get some ideas of how those look different. She used bigger envelopes and different designer paper, so looks totally different, and you can get an idea of how you can modify them for different themes. But anyway, what is this? If you take off the band here, and you can see the envelope shape. As I said, I used a smaller envelope, and by that I mean the envelopes from our pre-cut and scored note cards. So 3 of them go together to make this little memory book. Okay, and in the first page I have a pocket with a little tag. You could write a note or a to from. In the second page, I have in here a note card that you can write on, or you can add a picture in there, whatever strikes you. A gift card or cash, or something, whatever. That once you get the construction down, you can do whatever you want. This is like a flip out folder that you can attach a picture or another little envelope with a gift card or something. And this is also a little slot with a note card. I hope you can see this is embossed with the seasonal wreath and has a little greeting here. So you could attach a picture or attach a note, or whatever. Some little surprises to find in this little memory book. Okay, so I am going to show you there are a lot of pieces, but it's not very difficult. Let's start with the 3 envelopes. Okay, so as I said, these are the note card size envelopes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the first 2 and I'm going to put the flap, okay, hold the first one open. This will be the first page, and keep the flap to the right. And then slide the flap of the other one into that envelope. Okay, and snug them up so the creases line up. Okay, so you could actually have licked that envelope and put it in there to stick, but I'm usually not quick enough to get that crease to line up. So what I'm going to do instead now, because this page is not a pocket, this page is a pocket. Okay, this page uses the envelope pocket. This page is sealed shut, so I'm going to go ahead and get some glue in here. Now this is on the flap of the one that we've pushed into the left side. Okay, so that's just going to hold that shut. This pocket we're going to leave open, okay, because that is a pocket for that note card. And then this flap is going to pick up our 3rd envelope. All right, I'm just going to attach that here. Again, you could lick this, but what I'm going to do is add glue to the flap, so because I know that will be in or covered. The whole flap will be covered. If I put the glue on this side, I may not hit it right. But as I put this in, I'm not going to push it all the way into but up to the edge of this envelope. I'm going to leave like a little gap there just so there's some give to open and close this and have some thickness. Oops, I'm sliding that around a lot. Okay. Okay, so you can see already we've kind of got this book. I know it's white on white, so it's probably kind of hard to see. And then it folds up like so. Now, the idea is to cover it, make it really pretty, and we're going to start with the cover pieces. So you see that there is a larger piece that includes the flap, and then a smaller piece that make up the outside. And then I've got this wooden piece on the inside. All of this from Festive Farmhouse, so of course you can see how great it is that we have all this coordinating designer paper. Okay, so I'm going to do that big piece first, and to do that I'm going to flip open my entire booklet so that the third envelope that we put together is upside down and over here. Okay, we're going to attach this cherry cobbler piece, which measures the envelope width, which is 5 3/16 by 6 inches. The length is not too important. We're going to cut the length to match the envelope flap. Okay, so I am going to add glue to the portion of the envelope that will cover. And if you guys have any good ideas for like what to put in these little mini albums, please comment there and share them, because I think it's fun to have other people's ideas. Okay, so on that one whole envelope I have glue, and I'm going to line up this edge with the edge of the fold there from the envelope, and make sure we're lined up with the edges, and that looks good, and press it into place. And then all we have to do is take our snips and cut this edge to match the envelope flap. All right, so I'm really kind of slow at this, sorry. This is where I need to be able to speed up, but I can't do that on Facebook Live. Does anybody have any other ideas to put in here, like besides pictures and gift cards and notes? All right. Okay, so there we have that outside shape, and now you see we need the green on the piece that will be the front. So I'll just do that this way. Here, let's get this turned back around. I'm going to put the adhesive down on the part I'm covering. And I like to use the liquid glue for this because as you put this in place, to get a really clean match to the edges, you've got some time to slip it around. And I'm just going to make sure, that comes together. Give this a hard squeeze here to get as much glue out to the edge there. And then for the inner flap, I have a piece. Oh, by the way, this was also 5 3/16 inch wide, but the front is only 3 5/8 inches wide. Now, this I could have cut also to 5 3/16 inch long, but it doesn't matter because I'm just going to be cutting the shape. The important thing is that you have a 2-inch strip to put here. And in this case, because this is going to be, I'm going to add like a score line here and make this dimensional so that the depth, so the thickness can be surrounded by the spine. I need a really good attachment of adhesive right along that line. So instead of leaving that to glue and trying to make sure that I'm right up to the edge, I'm going to take my tear and tape here, and I'm going to put that right along the edge of that flap, that inside fold of the flap, so that I know I have really good attachment of this piece at that location. Okay, so I'm exposing that, and I'm just going to put glue on the rest of that flap. You're gonna love these because they're really easy, and the fun part is decorating, so you can kind of do anything with that. You don't have to follow any rules. Okay, so I'm just trying to get that lined up nice and even with that, the crease that's already there. Okay, and then I have to cut this one as well. So I am going to cut as close as I can to the shape of the other one that I already cut. And that gives us that nice looking envelope flap edge. Okay, so the outside is decorated. Now, to make this fold so nicely and to have this nice spine, I'm going to grab my scoring tool. And of course, I want the outside to fold perfectly on the envelope score line, which is already there. And I can't see that from this side, so I'm going to use my dark line here on the scoring tool and line up from the inside that score line. And then I'm just going to press that into place there so that I get that mark on the red side. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to score on the other side. Now I need to make a thickness so that this flap can go around all of the contents. And I'm going to put that score line I just made on the scoring tool where I have that line darkened in. And then I'm going to move it over. I need a line about a little more than an 1/8 inch over here, maybe not quite a quarter. So I'm moving over. That first line right now is lined up with the dark line on my scoring tool. Just going to move that over. Wow, I lost it in the lights. Okay. I'm going to move that over a little more than an 1/8 to make a score line for my spine. Okay. I think this is the hardest part of the whole thing, getting the outside covered nicely. But it wasn't too bad, right? And then you see where we have kind of like this would pop up if it wasn't adhered down good, and that's why that's really nice to have that sticky strip. Oh, that's a great idea, Brenda. I'm just noticing your comment, a favorite recipe. Oh man, that's a great idea to put in here. Thanks. Yeah, what a nice gift to send to someone, a little handmade piece of you that's got something special like that. Okay, so the outside is all done, and we're going to do our decorations. Remember, we've got a pocket left here. This is not an opening side of an envelope, but we have a pocket over here on the last page. So each of the pages does have one big background piece of designer paper, and each of those measures 3.5 by 5. Okay, so you can see these just kind of like go in place. I'll just start with these two. The first one, we've sealed this pocket closed because we're going to make a pocket for our tag on the front. And I am going to just simply glue this first designer paper background piece in place. Oops. And it is just a little smaller than the envelope, so you kind of use it like a matte piece and leave a little border. And then I have all of these pieces are 3.5 wide because that's the width we've got going here. This is 2 inches tall. I am just going to add adhesive. You could do this with the sticky strip or tear and tape if you want, just to make a pocket. So just on 3 sides, leaving one long side open. Okay, and make sure that long side is up then to create a pocket. And then I have a 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch piece just to cover. We're not going to seal up the pocket. We're actually going to mount this on the striped piece just as a little bit of trim. Okay, so make sure the glue doesn't get above the pocket there. All right. And I am going to let that all dry before I try to put in. I pre-made my tag piece. Okay, this is Whisper White, 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. All these dimensions I'll have on the website tomorrow at buckeyeinklings.com. The Mossy Meadow here is 2.5 by 3 3/4, and I use this great detailed trio punch. I used all the punches on this to do the rounding of the corners and the little decorative edge and then the hole. But I don't want to stick that in that pocket because obviously we just put wet glue there. And then we have these really great little clips, stars and trees. So I'll add one there after that dries as well. These are in the Holiday Cannual. They're all as bright paper clips. So let me set that aside and we'll go on to the next page. And like I said, this one is a pocket here. And just to make a little thumb hold, I want to make part of a 1-inch circle right in the center. And to find that center point, I'm just going to pinch. Going to line up the ends and then just make a little pinch crease right there in the center. And then I'll take my 1-inch circle punch, and I know that's my center point, and I can nip out less than half a circle there to make that little thumb hold opening that's cute. All right, when you go to glue this down, pay attention to the fact that this piece of paper will come out farther than your envelope opening. So I'm going to put the glue along this edge so I'm not in danger of gluing the whole pocket shut. And I'm just not going to get too close. There's not going to be, it's not like the edges will get pulled up like on this flap piece. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be too terribly close. But you definitely can't seal the pocket shut. And then this one had this cute little note card in it. I have that made ahead of time. I'm going to let that dry before I try to put it in. But this is Cherry Cobbler 3 3/8 by 4 7/8 and Whisper White 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So just stamped. All of these stamps are from this great Farmhouse Christmas set. This is a real favorite of mine just because I grew up going to my grandma's farm, and they had a truck like this truck that's in there, and big old farmhouse. So I just love those memories and this style. Okay, so that's page 2. Moving on, we have this flip out page, which is built up. Okay, again, we have, like I said, from the original 4 pieces of designer paper that were all 3.5 by 5. We have one of those, but we're going to build it up on this piece of Whisper White, which measures 3.5 by 7, and it's already scored at 5. So this is a 2-inch flap here, and I'm going to add glue to the back of this piece, and that actually should match exactly with this cutout Whisper White piece. And I can kind of slide that into place. And I'm going to make sure to fold that up so that the end of the paper is not blocking the fold. And then I've got my little wood grain on the inside, gray wood grain. So many pretty papers. And one thing that's really kind of nice about this set, it uses both white and very vanilla. And I feel like it gives you good license to go between the two and use them both in the same project. Like it really looks fine, even though there was some vanilla there. It all kind of goes together very nicely anyway. Okay, again, fold that up. Even if this pops up above the Whisper White pocket, we'll just make sure to cover that with the star piece. And we'll put that out over the top. And again, more important, I think, to cover anything that's sticking up over the top than to worry about that bottom edge. Okay, just to get that lined up. And I would add, again, one of these star clips, but I like to wait until this is good and dry. So I'm just going to adhere this now onto what I call page 3. And just kind of square that up. And then this last page is similar to the other one where we nipped that little half circle. So we're going to mark with a little pinch that halfway point and then pop out a little portion of a circle. And we'll glue this down going this way this time to make the pocket. And again, following the line of the envelope, not the line of the designer paper, because that will be bigger and it might glue the pocket shut if you put the glue too far on that. Okay, and again, you can slip it a little bit. And what I had in here was this Mossy Meadow piece that is 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. I embossed it with the wreath and just another little greeting. Oops, I think I'm not getting in the pocket. There we go. So that would be the last piece there. Okay, so I love this striped burlap. You could make a belly band with, you know, cardstock or designer paper, but what I've got is the striped burlap. And, oh, thanks, Linda. These are really easy. I'll show you what to do with the cards that are left over, okay? Because this is the pre-cut note cards and envelopes, and you're going to have all those note cards left over. I have taken to just tying this burlap in a knot. I don't know, it's kind of simple and rustic like the burlap, so, and it's easy. So I just did that, and then I have another greeting. This is all from that same farmhouse set, and this twine with the set is just so sweatery and soft. I love it. Should I use, oh, I used red. Get the red. Comes in a 3-pack with Cherry Cobbler, Mossy Meadow, and Very Vanilla. So I'm going to just put this on. This was stamped and then punched with a 1.5 inch circle, and this is a 1 3/4 inch punch. Of course, we have all kinds of great tag shapes. I'm sure you could probably come up with something more imaginative. I'm gonna take my tweezers and force this twine through. Oops, I'm not getting it through. And then I'll just make a knot here for my tag. And trim those ends. And I've got a dimensional for the greeting. So that's pretty simple, just a lot of pieces to organize. And like I said, I'll have all these dimensions on my website tomorrow with some still pictures. But let me show you. Okay, so if you're using the envelopes from that note card and envelope set, what can you do with the cards? I love to make this kind of card. It's called a joy fold when you have like it opening from one side and the other and they kind of like nest together. So I just took, if you can see, this is the 3.5 by 5-inch card opened up. And if you mount it this way, you can use that center for a nice greeting on white, and you can write in there. You don't have to add an additional panel. The gray granite piece that I have here is 5.5, like a regular card, by 6.5, scored at 4.25. Okay, that leaves little 2.25 flap. But the base size of the card then is our normal card. This designer paper is 2 inches wide by 5.25. And then this designer paper matches, of course the card is 3.5 by 5, so that designer paper is 3.25 by 4.75. What I have often done when I'm doing a lot of these, in order to make better use of my designer paper, I'll cut off 1/4 inch of the card, and that way my designer paper can be 3 inches wide, so that's more efficient. So this is also from that farmhouse set. Just love everything about it. The little fence, the wreaths. Anyway, so together you have, you have use of the envelopes and the cards. And let me show you the one we made in the summer, the Christmas in July version. We made with the Under the Mistletoe suite. I'll go through it kind of quick. Some of you have seen it. Because this is the paper we had available from the annual catalog and the mistletoe season stamp set. And we just have the red ribbon and a cute little tag from that set made up. And this is all very much the same. Little tag up front, note card in here, cute paper. Any of the papers will be so cute done this way because they all coordinate so nicely. And then we have all those extra little trims. And I did the wreath again over here. So really fun. And again, thanks to Liz Yule at Old Stables Crafts, because I copied hers the most closely. And if you go on Pinterest, of course, you'll find all kinds of different ones. But really fun to get started and just see what direction it goes, like what you want to put inside.